Yo, yo, what's up, YouTube? It's your boy, the Canard Economy. So, it's going to be a long video. So, to all the people who don't have time to really go in detail of it and have short attention spans, I'm going to hurry up and say what the 12 universal laws are. So, let's go over the definition first. The 12 laws of the universe are a set of spiritual and metaphysical principles that explain how energy, thought, and action shape our reality. So I'm gonna say the 12 for y'all. So I'm not. So it doesn't look like I'm, trying to, what's it called? Make the video long. So these are the 12 universal laws, and I'll go in detail after this. So law of divine oneness, law of vibration, law of attraction, law of correspondence, law of action, law of cause and effect, law of compensation, law of perpetual transmutation of energy, law of relativity, law of polarity, law of rhythm, and law of gender. So that's all 12 universal laws, and I'm going to go in detail of each one. So, how should I do this? So I was just gonna say some key terms first, but I'm gonna just flow because I had some definitions that I want to speak on first, but I had a whole list of definitions just in that. Let me see. All right, I'm gonna just say them. So once again, that's law of divine oneness, and they have I don't know, it's like a I don't know what it's called. I don't care. So law of divine oneness, everything is connected. Law of vibration, everything has a unique vibrational frequency. So the definitions, I was gonna say vibration and frequency, so I'll say that at the end. Law of vibration, everything has a unique vibrational frequency. Law of attraction, what is like unto itself is drawn. Like I said, I'm going to go into details with these things. So, law of attraction, what is like unto itself is drawn. Law of correspondence, so that's Correspondence. Correspondence. And I'm going to say the definition of that. So, I don't like how when I turn my head, it's like a dent. This is kind of, I don't know what that means. Something positive, something spiritual, I'm sure. So, law of correspondence, as above, so below, as within, as without. Law of action, manifestation, law of action, manifestation requires aligned action. Law of cause and effect, every action has a consequence. Law of compensation, that's Compensation, compensation. We are rewarded for right action. Law of perpetual transmutation of energy. So perpetual is Perpectual, perpetual. And transmutation is Transmutation. Law of perpetual transmutation of energy. And I'm going to say the definition of what energy is. Energy is always moving and always changing. That's not the definition, but it had like a little side note. These are side notes that I'm saying now. Law of relativity. So that's Relativity. Relativity. Law of relativity. It's all relative. Law of polarity. That's Polarity. Polarity. Law of polarity. Everything has its opposite. Law of rhythm. That's Rhythm. Rhythm. Law of rhythm. Life moves in circles. And lastly, law of gender. Everything contains masculine and feminine energy. Everything. Every single thing. So I'm going to go in deeper with the side notes now. So once again, these are the 12 universal laws. Law of divine oneness. All things are connected. Your thoughts and acts affect the whole world, literally. Like this stuff isn't, it's not pseudoscience. It's not, I mean, well, I guess you consider it pseudoscience because you can't really prove the universe's laws and that, but these things are, it should resonate with you, and as a human, I'm good. I was gonna say some other stuff, but I don't know. So that's law of divine oneness. So all things are connected. Your thoughts and acts affect the whole world. So it's not just what you do, it's what you think. So you can't fake it at all. You know what I'm saying? The next is law of vibration. That's Vibration. Vibration. Law of vibration. Everything moves and vibrates at a specific frequency. And like I said, I'm going to say the definitions and key terms after this. Law of vibration. Everything moves and vibrates at a specific frequency. Energy matches like energy. And these are side notes that I'm talking about. Law of action. You must take steps to manifest. And once again, I'm going to say the key terms. You must take steps to manifest your goals. Dreams require physical effort. Number 4 is law of correspondence. As above, so below. Your outer life reflects your inner thoughts. Law of cause and effect. Every action has an equal reaction. What you do comes back to you. What you do comes back to you, which is called karma. And I'm going to say what the definitions are after I'm done. So we're at 2, 4, we're at number 6. Law of compensation. You reap what you sow. You get back what you put out into the world. And that's very true. So just me doing these videos, I'm being compensated off camera. Like not just money, you know what I mean? You know, spiritual favor, karmic debt, etc., etc. And I'll say what those definitions are after this. So we just finished off of law of compensation. You reap what you sow, you get back what you put out into the world, literally. So next is law of attraction. Like attracts light. Well, not light, but like, Like. Like attracts like. You draw people and events that match your energy. And once again, I'm going to say the key terms of energy. Law of perpetual transmutation. Yep, law of perpetual transmutation of energy. Energy constantly changes form. High energy can shift low energy. So that's once again, that's law of perpetual transmutation of energy. Energy constantly changes form. High energy can shift low energy. So we're on number 8. Law of relativity. And that's events are neutral until you compare them. Challenges give you perspective. Number 9. Actually, that was number 9. Now we're on number 10, which is law of polarity, which is Polarity, law of polarity. Everything has an opposite. Opposites are just two ends of one thing. like hot and cold, good and bad. So we need both of them. And it's understand that you have both of them in you. And that's why you should do the 8 hours of shadow work at the least to get all that. Law of rhythm. Life moves in cycles, patterns, and seasons. Everything ebbs, which is EBBS. Y'all can Google that. Everything ebbs and flows. That's ebbs, EBBS. Ebbs and flows. And number 12 is law of gender. Everything has masculine and feminine energies. Balance is needed to create and grow. So, these are the 12 laws of the universe. And once again, the 12 laws of the universe are a set of spiritual and metaphysical principles that explain how energy, thought, and action shape our reality. And I'm gonna keep it going. They suggest that everything in the cosmos, which is a definition I'm gonna say, they suggest that everything in the cosmos is linked and runs by predictable patterns. I'll add this. Discovered by ancient cultures such as the Egyptians and the Greeks, who intuitively mapped cosmic order, balance, and harmony. And I'm gonna go even further. Once y'all learn this, y'all can't unlearn it. So this is a black book pill. This is a black pill book called the Kabbalion, and I don't recommend y'all read that until y'all learn all this stuff and looked at the rest of my videos and everything. But you can search it up if you want to. It's for us. It's not a bad thing, but a lot of people can't handle this high level information. Like, this is college level information and above. So that's the Kabbalion. That's Kyballlion. And a lot of this stuff these are household names at this point. So it's not like I'm really talking about some secret knowledge. Like, this is like standard spirituality. So the Kabbalion introduced 7 core principles attributed to the, now I'll say his name, to the entity Hermes Trismegistus. So that's Hermes Trismegistus. And it's hard for me to talk, because of my accent and all that. I'm from Maryland. At least I don't have the Baltimore accent, like saying like you and two and blue and all that stuff. Even though that's only 50 minutes away, it's so weird. And then I didn't drink any water. So this is by the brilliant entity. I was gonna, give him some more characteristics, but I'll just say the legendary entity Hermes Trismegistus. So that's HermesTrismegistus. Hermes Trismegistus. So that's an actual entity. That's not a human. That's not a king or anything. That's like a spiritual being that gave us these 12 universal laws. But it really originally started with him giving us the Kabbalion and 7. Yeah, okay. Sound like I heard something. I'm in the basement right now. So that's the Kabbalion. It started off with 7 core principles, but everybody took it up even more, from enlightenment and, progressing. So that's how we got the full 12. But I'm going to say what the 7 core principles are, and I'm going to say what the definitions are. So the Kabbalion introduced 7 core principles attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, such as mentalism, which is mentalism, mentalism, and I'm going to go over the definitions. So these are the 7 core principles. Mentalism, correspondence, which is what we talked about earlier, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. That's the 7 core principles. But people from I'll say the New Age movement, I guess, and self-help authors expanded these foundational ideas into a framework known as the 12 Universal Laws. So once again, it started with 7 core principles, but then Hermes Trismegistus isn't the end all be all to all these beings and everything. So we learned all those 7 principles, so we were blessed with even more laws to follow so we can elevate as humans. Because remember I said in a previous video, I said Jesus didn't teach us this stuff. So that's why it's important to learn other religions and branch out past Christianity. But I recommend everybody should start off as Christians, you know what I'm saying? To get your feet wet, if you will. Because as you can see, the only laws that we have to follow as Christians, but not really, is the 10 Commandments. But it's, you know, it's way more stuff than that. You know, like the 42 laws of Ma'at, the 7 core principles, the 12 universal laws, and then my next video is going to be on the 12 karmic laws. And then I have another 12 laws list. Like I follow all these things, you know, and I recommend we all follow them at the same time. Like the 12 universal laws, the 7 core principles, the 12 karmic laws, the 42 laws of Ma'at. So we'll elevate as humans, which is how we got America. You know, specifically America. You know, shout out to the founding fathers and all that stuff. But once again, these principles don't come from America. So that's why it's important to not just look at America for enlightenment, because this stuff came from ancient Egypt and the Greeks. Greece. But they're called Greeks. So, but once again, well, not once again, but unfortunately, they're not talking about anything nowadays. You know what I mean? Like I haven't heard from Greece or Egypt on the news at all. So, because they're not talking about nothing. Okay, so that was the 12 laws of the universe, and I'll say it one more time. Well, the 12 laws of the universe as well as the 7 core principles. So I'll go over it one more time and then we're going to do the definitions. So these are the 7 core principles from the homie Hermes Trismegistus. Thank you so much forever. We owe you our lives and all that. Such as mentalism, which is mentalism, mentalism, correspondence, that's correspondence, I guess. Like I said, my writing is so shit. Correspondence, vibration, and I'd be writing fast too. Like I'm not on a desk or anything. I was writing on this while having a broken charger. So we flowing. Mentalism, correspondence, vibration, and correspondence has 2 definitions, by the way, which is what I'll say. Mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, P-O-L-A-R-I-T-Y, polarity, rhythm, R-H-Y-T-H-M, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. So, and I will go over what the 12 universal laws are one more time with the side notes. Law of divine oneness. All things are connected. Your thoughts and acts affect the whole world, literally. And that's why the world looks kind of crazy right now, because everybody's having bad thoughts and acting negative. So that's why it's important to learn these laws so we can be nice and happy, you know what I'm saying? And joyful, and, you know, we see the emotions. Like I said, y'all should be looking at this like a series. Y'all shouldn't just be looking at this one video and, you know. Like I said, I gave everybody time to get their bearings together. So now we're just going straight spirituality now. So, and self-improvement. Law of divine oneness. All things are connected. Your thoughts and acts affect the whole world. Law of vibration. Everything moves and vibrates at a specific frequency. Energy matches like energy. So even if you don't know these laws, you're still participating in it. So that's why it's good to be aware and not like be blind to society and all that, or just go to work all day. So, law of attraction. You must take steps to manifest your goals. Dreams require physical effort. Law of correspondence. As above, so below. Your outer life reflects your inner thoughts. Law of cause and effect. Every action has an equal reaction. What you do comes back to you, which is called karma, and I'm going to go over the definitions after this. So, that was law of divine oneness, that's 1. Law of vibration, that's 2. Law of action, that's 3. Law of correspondence, that's 4. Law of cause and effect, that's 5. Now we're at 6, which is law of compensation. You reap what you sow, you get back what you put out into the world. Number 7 is law of attraction. Like attracts like. You draw people and events that match your energy. So sorry if I'm burping and y'all may hear my stomach rumbling. Like I said, I don't eat breakfast, and I recommend that we really eat lunch, like a veggie lunch, and eat dinner before 7:30. So that means yesterday I ate around 8:40 because I was too busy writing all this knowledge and stuff. But that's a good thing that your stomach is rumbling. That means your food is digesting and all that good stuff. That's why I recommend eating once a day and eating just a veggie lunch, because that will raise your vibration, which is what I'll talk about in another video. And I'll go over the definition of what the vibration is. So we're at number 7, right? 2, 4, 6, 7, yep. Law of attraction. Like attracts like. You draw people and events that match your energy. So that's literally, so if you're around negative people, you're probably a negative person and don't realize it. Because I realize the conversations that people have, it's so trash. Like the average person's conversation is like, it's like degenerate, and not on some, talking about degeneracy. It's just the way their tone of voice, their conversation topics, like it's like boring. It's very, very whatever comes to mind, and it just makes everybody look mediocre. And so, which will make you mediocre if you hang around people like that, or even work with them. So that's law of attraction. Number 8 is law of perpetual transmutation. Law of perpetual transmutation of energy. Like I said, this is the first time I talked all day out loud. You know what I'm saying? So, like the fact that I even could do this and still speak English is amazing. So, law of perpetual transmutation of energy. Energy constantly changes form. High energy can shift low energy. So me being positive in life and everything. So if people like have a perceived view of me, like they probably think I'm like a hood guy, and I am. I'm from the hood, I guess. I could, like I said, I consider it the suburbs. But if y'all come around here, you'll be like, oh, it's, like I said, it's a nice neighborhood, but they turned it into the hood. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, I can't beat everybody up, and I can't run you out the neighborhood because I'll go to jail and stuff. So, they be riding dirt bikes around here and all that lame shit. And I'd be wanting to stop them, but they're gonna want to fight, and I'm not trying to fight. Nor can I, kill you in self-defense. So, following all these laws and stuff, which they should be doing too, but they're not aware of it. So, once they die, they'll be told these laws by maybe Hermes Trismegistus. You know what I'm saying? So, that's the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. Energy constantly changes form. High energy can shift low energy. I was gonna say the different types of energy, but nah. High energy can shift low energy, and a lot of people are. I I hate this. That's what I'm saying. I'm a Black Pill channel, so I gotta really expose things. A lot of people are called energy vampires. So they see like somebody like me who has like a lot of high energy. Other people that's high energy or that like take people's energy and all that, or make them feel or make themselves feel good, they will be like, "Oh, I like your energy," and all that type of stuff. Or big, you know what energy? Big DICK energy. So a lot of people like to be around high energy and high vibrational people because as humans, when we communicate with each other, we're transmuting energy. So, for example, I'm very high energy. If I go to one of y'all and I'm on like mean time and all that type of stuff, if y'all say hello and all that stuff and smile at me, and I just be like and look at you like mean and everything, your energy is going to change, and then you're going to be mean to me and all that type of stuff. And how do I know? I tested it, you know, like because sometimes I don't want to speak to people, like just, and people be like, it doesn't cost nothing to say hello, but it does, you know, transmuting that energy. That's why I like to say hello and all that, as well as to check people's temperature, if that makes sense. Like y'all want to see how y'all want to gauge people's mood of the day and all that type of stuff. Because a lot of y'all, once again, energy, what was it? Energy attracts the same type of energy. So you all like to, see. That's what I'm saying. I got brain fog and all that. And like I said, I'm not talking to anybody. I'm talking to a phone, so it's kind of hard to, you know. But y'all like to, what is it? I can't even think of the fuck it. So, law of relativity. That's number 10. Law of relativity. That's relativity. Relativity. It almost came to me. I was so close, but it's whatever. Yeah, y'all get what I'm saying though. So do good unto others what you want do good to you. I was trying to figure out that saying. I was trying to figure out the saying, you know, what the kids say. Like it's like some kid shit that we learned. You know, like whatever, bro. Law of relativity. Events are neutral until you compare them. Challenges give you perspective. Number Okay, so I guess that was number 10. So law of polarity. Everything has an opposite. Opposites are just two ends of one thing, such as hot, cold, good, bad. Law of rhythm. Life moves in cycles, patterns, and seasons. Oh, that was the other thing. Treat others how you want to be treated. That's what we learned in school. That's how I said a kid saying. Treat others how you want to be treated. And that's like I said, they don't specifically say the 12 universal laws, but you know, that's where they got this stuff from. Like all these righteous moral compasses and everything. But you know, a lot of people are like, oh, it's a lot of people don't believe in spirituality and religion, so they have to dumb it down, if you will. So everything has an opposite. Opposites are just two ends of one thing. Hot, cold, good, bad. Law of rhythm. Life moves in cycles, patterns, and seasons. Everything ebbs and flows. I forgot what that meant, ebbs, but y'all can search that up. That's EBBS. That's a real word. Just like the word all, AWE. Everything ebbs. So that may be some type of vibration or some type of movement. Everything ebbs and flows, but it's called rhythm. You know, that's how they got music and all that. You know, like that's all like that's spiritual. That's mathematics. That's rhythm, law of rhythm, and all that type of stuff. Cycles, patterns, and seasons. And then lastly is the law of gender. Everything has masculine and feminine energies. Balance is needed to create and grow. So that's why you see a lot of people nowadays, they think they're women or they think they're a man, because we literally have both. And that's why a lot of people will turn transgender. So like, they have some truth to it. They just look ugly, and they're still mentally ill, but because they're some people are actually cutting their genitals off, not on a scientific level, not a surgery. I'm talking about literally cutting their stuff off because they don't know how to balance their masculine and feminine energy. That's why they had this new thing called femboys and trans and all that stuff. Butch women, lesbians. And I don't want to say the word because that may be a offensive term, like using the word. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. But slandering homosexuals and slandering lesbians. So y'all can use y'all sanctified imagination. Law of gender, everything has masculine and feminine energies. Balance is needed to create and grow. So that's why it's important to work out both. Like for example, like coloring and drawing, you would consider that feminine energy. And then me, lifting weights, 10-pound weights like this and all that, moving, that's masculine energy. Or even playing video games, Call of Duty, going to war, that's masculine energy. And I would go even further, where some women call certain drugs boy drugs. Like, what is that? Boy drugs, I would say like lean, codeine, heroin, crack, stuff like that. That's what you would consider boy drugs. So I guess women see that as masculine, hard drugs and all that. But then on a feminine level, they'll do something like ecstasy, marijuana. I was gonna say mushrooms, but that's both. It's okay. All right, so that was all 12. That was all 12 laws of the universe, and I even added the 7 core principles from the book called The Kybalion, which is Kybalion, Kybalion. And that's not a religious book. That's not like the Quran or what's the Jewish one? It starts with a K too. But it's not called Cabal because that's with a C, I believe. But yeah, y'all know the Jewish one. And they have way more laws than us. They have over. See, I don't wanna misspeak, but it's over 100 laws that they follow. And now we got to go to delayed. Now I got to edit. You see, because the other video, the one that I just did about the life skills for kids, that was only 22 minutes, so I could just upload that to YouTube, and that took about 20 minutes just to upload. Now I gotta hurry up. All right, so that was the Kybalion with the big dog, the demigod Hermes Trismegistus. That's Hermes, capital Trismegistus. So Hermes Trismegistus, like I said, that's a black pill cogni hazard. So me just saying the word cogni hazard is a cogni hazard. So y'all can search up what that is. I already explained that in my previous videos. But if you look at this entity, this deity, he's like Zeus. Like, once again, in the Egyptian cultures, that's Sekhmet. That's like a Sphinx type of character and all that. So I believe these beings actually lived on Earth, but they transcended, but they're still here though. You know what I mean? Like, if I really wanted to, I could not probably, I know that I can do a ritual and I can summon Hermes Trismegistus. And they come to people just like how Jesus would come to people. Like, all these are ascended masters, but Not Hermes Trismegistus. That's not an ascended master. Ascended master is Jesus. I'm not going to say the other beings. I'm not. I can't do that. I can't do that. Like we'll just say Jesus Christ. Or I could add this person, Saint Germain. Some people probably already know who I'm talking about. That's Saint Germain. And and they have people like popes. They have things called saints and uncorruptible saints. So it's different levels of ascended masters, but I want to specifically say ascended masters. That's the main person. Like that's the real elevated individual. And I believe they go to the popes. Like they're at the. See how my brain is so crazy. What is it called? The Vatican. The Vatican. See how I'm flowing? I'm freestyling. I don't like I said, this isn't scripted. All I have is a list. All I have is a list. But like I said, I did all the research and all this stuff from a long time ago, and I'm just putting it on the internet. So I believe these beings appear to Pope Francis. Pope, is that the new one? Pope Francis. Who's the new Pope? The one from Chicago. And I hate to be disrespectful, but I don't think he's that. Because if we really had real spiritual leaders, there wouldn't be any war. So that's why a lot of people went to be Christians instead of Catholic, because they kind of, in the Catholic religion, they're kind of pimping them by not allowing them to talk to God. Like they say only the Pope can talk to God and all that stuff. And that's true in a sense, but everybody can talk to God because he's God of the world and earth. But there's also other there's also other entities, so you don't know who could be talking to you. So, because at the very least, if you look at the homie John Lear, I believe that's his name, John Lear Jr. or something, he claims that there's over. I'll keep it normal. They said there's over 50 to 100 extraterrestrial beings on Earth. So, and I believe they met with all of them to get the technology. How you think we got cell phones and all that stuff? Because you see, we haven't got a new type of cell phone. We still got the same iPhone, Samsung Galaxy. Like we just now got the Fold. So, they may have communed with another entity to get that. So, like I said, so we're going. That was the Kabbalion with the 7 core principles with the homie Hermes Trismegistus, such as mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. So, lastly, we're going to go over the key terms, what I said about the cosmos and manifestation and all that. So, these are the key terms that I'm going to go over in this: manifest, energy, cosmos, frequency, and vibration. And I didn't search up these, but you could go further with the subconscious mind, conscious mind, higher self, and the 7 chakras in the body. Also, correspondence. So, let's go over what these things are, as well as mentalism and the 7 core principles, the definitions of that. So, we spoke on mentalism. That's mentalism. Mentalism. We're 39 minutes in. I can go over this in this one. So that's mentalism. Mentalism is a performing art where practitioners known as mentalists appear to demonstrate mind reading, telepathy, and prediction. But it's not really like that's science, believe it or not. Like mind reading, telepathy, and prediction. So I'll go further and say that they do something called conjuring, psychology, and behavioral science rather than real physical powers. Psychic powers, not physical powers, psychic powers. But it's both though. It's also psychic powers and Also, it's so good. Like they're so good, the scientists, that they have it down to a science, and you can search all the stuff up. Conjuring, psychology, behavioral science, like all that stuff is real. It's not just pseudoscience. Because what you would call pseudoscience that you can't prove is mind reading, telepathy, and prediction. Like predicting the future and all that, and dreams and all that. Like that's what you would call pseudoscience. But we do have telepathy though, because we can, like, once you get around certain people, like you can know what they're thinking. Like you can do something called talking in code. That's a form of telepathy. Saying things like if you know, you know, that's considered telepathy. I didn't mean to say but looking at the news, we kind of use telepathy and talking code so we don't alert other countries, if you will. That's why a lot of our news broadcasts, we don't talk about a lot of stuff anymore because we're compromised and a lot of our technologies are exposed, like China. Like I'm on a Samsung Galaxy right now. I'm on a Japanese phone. They could actually be they could be taking our knowledge and all that stuff just from this phone. So now we have to talk in code and use telepathy. And people even do that to get people kicked out of places. Like they'll be like they feel uncomfortable and stuff like that. And then they'll just say, and they'll use like facial expressions. They'll be like, I feel kind of uncomfortable, little stuff like that, and it manipulates people. But but if they know what that means, they use telepathy, and they don't have to they don't have to elaborate, if you will. Okay, so, and that's called mentalism. And this is all proven science. You can search that up on YouTube. You can search it up on Google. Books on it, all that stuff. And for example, the Kabbalion, like these are high level books. Like you see how they're doing like digital now, and they're taking all the physical things away. So a lot of these books cost a lot of money now, and I don't have the money for them. So that's why I'm doing YouTube, so I can get these books, video games, clothes, all that stuff. So, and once again, I'm very spiritual. Like a lot of this stuff is the truth. Like for example, I have these PRP jeans. Just I never heard of these jeans before, but then I bought them and I connected with them. By probably like telepathy and all that. Let me show y'all this. See, it's an angel on it. It's a bruised angel. I don't know if y'all can see it like that. Like I'm only doing this with one hand. Hold on. Fuck, bro. Yeah, there you go. Y'all can see it. It's like an angel on it. I have some True Religion jeans upstairs. It has the Buddha sign. All the stuff is good luck and all that. That's why the stuff costs so much. Like just those one pair of jeans cost $200. So I may do a fashion video of showing y'all how to dress and all that good stuff because that's spiritual. You know, that's why places like D.C. and Maryland we be so fly because we're very very spiritual, not just Christian. And I'll even say out Philadelphia. I never realized how many Muslim people were out there. But that's kind of I don't want to disrespect their religion. But as y'all can see, a lot of people are crashing out and all that stuff. And that's why a lot of criminal organizations believe in Muslim culture because they believe in they believe in dying for what they believe in, like on a high level, and also killing people who don't agree with them and all that stuff, which isn't good. That's not good at all. And they'll face that consequence of killing people, even if it's for righteous reasons. They still won't become an ascended master. They still won't. They still can't be like a pope type character. But as you can see, there's so much war going on. That's where we're kind of conflicted at. And once again, there's nobody to talk to about this stuff. So it's like we got to make that personal decision to say, hey, we're either going to be killed or we're going to do the killing. So, you know, and I believe if you get killed, I believe you stay on Earth, and that's why we have actual ghosts. Like if y'all see, it was a lot of paranormal activity movies a long time ago, which I believe are real movies. I mean, real instances of paranormal activity, and I believe like they could probably come through the screen, but that's pseudoscience. I don't know. Like even my English teacher, Miss Brown from high school, she says she doesn't even watch these type of movies because she believes that stuff. And I didn't know what she was talking about. And like a long time ago, I didn't know about all this stuff. But now I'm like, yeah, that's it's true. All horror movies, they could possibly be killing people on camera, and we won't even know it. We'll think it's the movie. All that stuff is wild, man. Like it could be something called a snuff film or a red room, if you will. But like I said, I can't. That's not what this is about, you know. But I am a Black Pill channel, so I just got to freestyle and tell y'all all this crazy knowledge, and that's why you stay for the full video. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I'm pretty much done. I'm just going over the definition, so y'all can search these up yourselves. Mentalism is a performing art where practitioners known as mentalists appear to demonstrate mind reading, telepathy, and prediction, conjuring, psychology, and behavioral science rather than real psychic powers. Number two is manifest. So manifest and manifestation are two different things. I'm gonna say what manifest is, and then I'm gonna say what manifestation is. So manifest is Manifest. Manifest means I thought the words are mine. So to use positive thinking and focus to bring a dream or job into your life. Easy to notice without any doubt, to appear or become real. Manifest, another definition is a sign or visible expression of something abstract like an emotion, shifting your inner consciousness and energy to match your goals, moving past simple wishing by pairing visualization with real world behavior and choices. So I'm going to say that one more time. Sign or visible expression of something abstract like an emotion, shifting your inner consciousness, which is CONSCIOUSNESS, consciousness, which is what we have is how we're alive and how I'm able to articulate myself. Shifting your inner consciousness, and like I said, we have the subconscious where our body moves on automatic, like how we talk with our hands and all that type of stuff. But I don't believe in talking with your hands, even though it helps. You know what I mean? A lot of cultures think that's disrespectful talking with your hands. So, shifting your inner consciousness and energy to match your goals, moving past simple wishing by pairing visualization with real world behavior and choices. So, that's manifesting. But manifestation is the act of turning an idea, desire, or internal state into a physical reality using focus, belief, and action. So that's what manifestation is. That's the actual practice, manifestation, which is the act of turning an idea, desire, or an internal state into a physical reality using focus, belief, and action. And I already said what manifest was. So number three is energy. Energy is the power of ability to do work, make things move, or cause change. It cannot be made or destroyed, but it can change form. Excuse me. It cannot be made or destroyed, but it can change from one form into another. And once again, I spoke on the energy. Like y'all see, I'm kind of high energy, if you will. Like I'm flowing. I have charisma, which is energy, charismatic. And once again, you can transmit that to somebody else. For example, just me making these videos, I could probably make y'all day happier. smiling and everything. You know what I'm saying? Being joyful. Because if y'all see me in person, I'm a very happy individual. But then, people start to do like dumb shit. so, so it's kind of hard for me to keep that same energy with these people. Because once they start doing dumb shit, like at work or something, they slack off or they make me do the work. It's kind of hard to keep that same energy with people. That's why they say keep that same energy in person and all that. So, like I said, it's a lot of truth to it, but a lot of people don't like spirituality, religion, witchcraft, etc., etc. So that's energy. We're moving to vibration. We have a few more definitions. We got three more definitions to go. We're at vibration. Vibration is an informal sense of an emotional mood or atmosphere given off by a person, place, or things, aka high vibrational beings and low vibrational beings. So I was just saying, keep that same energy, and so if you're beefing with somebody, you can literally feel it in the air, or what's that term? The elephant in the room. So that's considered vibration. Y'all can feel that. We're humans, so even though we don't act like humans all the time, we still have these human characteristics of like we can sense bad energy, we can sense bad feelings and all that. Or you could feel, they say you can cut the tension with a knife in the room. You know what I mean? And once again, I said people are energy vampires. So if they don't get that energy of, hey, how are you? And all that stuff, they'll have that vibration shift, and they'll be like, they won't want to talk to you anymore. They'll talk down on you to other people. They'll be like, oh, I don't know what's his problem and all that stuff. So I'm not going to say the scientific vibration definition. I'm just saying what the vibration is of spirituality. So we're 52 minutes. Vibration, an informal sense of an emotional mood or atmosphere given off by a person, place, or thing. So even with things like how they have like sculptures and totems and relics, trophies, like that stuff holds energy, and you can feel it. As in, like some things have a bad vibe to it. Like for example, if y'all see that, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying not to, like I'm black people, but I'm not really trying to go in hard. But I'll say in fuck it. So in Satanism, which again the energy is going to change off me just saying that, because that has energy in that word and vibration. So in Satanism, all religions and spirituality, they have symbols, and they have symbols called sigils. So if you write something like that on the wall, like an upside down cross or a pentagram with an upside down star, that has energy and vibration on it. So some people that see that, well, about 98% of people will see that and think, oh man, that's bad. That's bad energy. And they'll run over to it and, tear it down and all that. So that's vibration and energy. And y'all probably wonder why I use Satanism. That's probably the best thing I could say to really emphasize on energy and vibration and frequency, which is what I'm going to talk about right now. Frequency is how often a specific event or a wave cycle repeats during a set period of time. It is usually measured in hertz, which is Hertz. Y'all can search that up. Hertz, where 1 hertz equals 1 complete repetition or cycle per second. Sound waves, electricity, light, radio, and music has frequency. So when you're listening to your favorite song, you may go, wow. That's what I do. Like when I hear like a really good melodic song, like I can hear some of these songs that I have on my page channel. Like you can search up Can Last Seal, Can High Rise Still Sippin', Blade with 2 E's. It's Hotel Breakfast. That's the name of the song. Like once you hear these songs, immediately you'll go, wow. It has something. It has like a euphoria effect. So, and that's called frequency. And they put that all in the music. They put energy in the music, vibration in the music, and frequency. That's why I only recommend listening to positive music, or even just religious music, because it's worshiping your God and your ascended master. So that's frequency. How often a specific event or a wave cycle repeats during a set period of time. It is usually measured in hertz, where 1 hertz equals 1 complete repetition or cycle per second. Sound waves, electricity, light, radio, and music. Once again, and I added this, which is why we should only be listening to positive and or luxury music, like Drake. I consider that luxury music. This the vibe of everything. You can tell he's very, very posh, and like you said, you can search up that word posh. Very elegant music. That's why a lot of mayors and politicians listen to this music. It's luxury music. It puts you in a vibe of Rolls Royce. That's why Rick Ross says that little tag or ad lib that the producer does. It says Maybach music. You listen to these specific songs in luxury environments. I would even say house music. Like I'm in a house right now. You could play specific songs that put you in a house vibe. So like I said, that's all frequency, vibration, and energy. Okay, so I stopped at should only be listening to positive and or luxury music at the highest forms. So y'all see it's so much music out. That's why you really have to pick your specific songs. Like look how I was talking about the Uzi tape. Everybody loves the Uzi tape, but it's really not that good. It's the beats, it's the flow, production, all the people that's around him. But it's not better than Love Is Rage. It's not better than Little Uzi Vert versus the World. It's not better than the Perfect Love tape. That's my big three. But everybody loves Love Is Rage too and all that because his beats are so crazy. Like these are very, very, these are some of the best beats that you can find on earth, literally. Trap beats and hip hop beats. Okay, so that was listening to music at the highest forms, luxury music. Also, on a physics level, our mind should be in the wavelength and frequency as nature, earth, the universe, God, Jesus, the 42 laws of Mayat, 12 laws of the universe, 10 commandments, and I'll go even deeper to say like Buddha, the Tibetan monks, and positivity, joy, bliss, and nirvana, all at the same time. So you can like be really, really happy all the time. Because like how's war going on and all that? I could be in a war zone right now and I would smile. And y'all would think it's crazy, but well some people are crazy like that. They like war and they like that type of thing. Which I do. I love that stuff. I'm a warlord. But I'm just happy all the time. Like when I'm by myself like this, I'm still happy, very, very happy. Like the only time y'all would see me mad is if like I had a phone cut off and now I got to reset the whole thing and stuff like that. Or somebody interrupts my video, but I don't get mad or I don't confront them. I don't confront them and say, "Hey, you just messed up my video. We need to fight." I used to be like that, but then you learn, you elevate, you become mature, and all that stuff. And I don't have health care. I can't just be fighting people. You know what I'm saying? Because if somebody hit my tooth, I don't have a tooth anymore. You know. And I guess I still got all my teeth too. You know. And I've been fighting like a motherfucker too. And so you gotta learn how to dodge. You gotta weave. So we should be on the same wavelength and frequency, vibration and energy as nature, earth, the universe, God, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the 42 laws of Mayat, 12 laws of the universe, 12 laws of karma, which I'll go into in another video next. laws of the universe, 12 laws of the universe, 12 laws of karma, the 10 commandments, which is in Christianity, and I made a video on that, as well as the 42 laws of Mayat, Buddha's teachings of being peaceful and all that, being a pacifist, letting somebody smack you, which I don't really recommend. You should let them hit you at least once or twice, but if they start wailing on you, you gotta really fight back, because they'll literally knock you out and rob you, or even worse. That I can't say on camera. So that's following Buddha's teachings, the Tibetan monks' teachings, being calm and all that. So being at peace and being calm is two different things. Being at peace is like you don't need anything. Like, for example, you don't have to get a better job, you don't need a better house, you don't need a better car. So that's called being contempt. Or content. Contempt is the court term, I believe. So content. Okay. So that's Buddha's teachings, the Tibetan monks' teachings. I would even say shaving your hair one time, and the art of detachment. So once you learn all this stuff, you'll get to this level too. But you won't be able to go to work and all that stuff. Well, like this, So my phone's on 15%, man. That's crazy. All right, so let me keep flowing. So that's the Tibetan monks, and positivity, joy, bliss, and nirvana. Nirvana is also in the Buddhist teachings, as well as the Tibetan monks, but it's mainly Buddha. And Hinduism. Like I said, y'all can search all this stuff up yourself. Number 6, because you can see, imagine if I would have went in like every single detail. I'm already an hour and 2 minutes in. And I would love to make a part 2, but it's like I want to have a video dedicated to specifically that. Like, I don't want to add part 2 to the title, because it may mess up the title, engagement, and all that. So we have 2 more. That's correspondence. That's CORRESSPONDEND. CORRESSPONDENCE. Correspondence. So that means connection, close match, or an agreement between two things, or a relationship between sets in mathematics. Can also mean communication by written or digital messages, such as a letter or email. So another definition for correspondence is, which is what I'll add to the means connection, close match, and all that. Correspondence means a similar thought, opinion, or structure between concepts. And that's called correspondence. So it's good to have, everybody has to be on one accord, if that makes sense. Which is, a lot of people don't believe this now, because it's like a conspiracy theory, so it's like propaganda to people now. But we should have a one world government. But who gets to decide which government? You know what I'm saying? Because like now we have atomic weapons, and everybody's, we crossing the Strait of Hormuz and all that stuff. And see how they have see how we're warring about that stuff. So eventually everybody's going to be another World War III. And then after that World War III, it's going to be a one world government. And, and technically it's a one world government right now, because America is like the super duper power, like the Homelander, if you will. It started as Superman, but now he's Homelander, which is why I believe they made that show, Homelander. Excellent show. I recommend it. Black Pill show. Very, very gruesome show. As well as the Vulturemites and all that. I forgot the Invincibles. The Invincibles, Omni-Man and everybody. So that's what we are. That's what America is in its entirety. So now other cultures and countries like Iran, they don't conform to America, or like in Venezuela or Cuba, they don't conform to our standards. So they got to make up some type of propaganda, and we got to scoop them up, because they don't agree or align with our values. Okay. So, and the last one is the cosmos, what I was talking about earlier. The cosmos, that's COSMOS, cosmos. That means the universe. And the universe is what we're in, our specific universe. We have different types of universes, but this is specifically the universe that we thrive in. And, and there's other entities in different universes. They have alternate universes. Like, for example, I would have made this same video, and like, there's a possibility that in another galaxy universe, and like I said, in another video, I'm gonna take us to space. I'm gonna do a space tour. We're gonna go from land all the way up to the scary planets. Not Saturn, not just Saturn, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, Mars. We're gonna go even further. We're gonna go past the sun and all that. So that's the cosmos. Means the universe seen as a neat, peaceful, and working system, which it is. Because as you can see, we have something called gravity. Once again, we can't prove that, but they have a way of proving it. You know what I mean? A battery. That's what gravity is. You know what I mean? Or like water. Like I said, we don't have that. We don't have a lot of that stuff. Like all that stuff is finite. I believe that's the word. So it's all in the cosmos. Oh, I was gonna say, in a different universe, right now as we're looking at this, I could be a raccoon. I could be a a possum or something like that, talking to y'all. You know what I mean? We could be animals and all that. Or on a different term, an alternate universe is I could possibly, instead of having brown hair and brown eyes, I could have had hazel eyes and blonde hair while talking like this. You know what I mean? With a blonde beard and all that, like a Nordic or something. So but once again, being in this beautiful universe that we have, which is a working system, and it's neat and peaceful, because I'm gonna show y'all these different types of planets and different universes, and even in our universe, there's some planets that rain gold. There's some places that have like high wind velocity, velocity, velocity. Because y'all saw how I was just outside and the wind was blowing, but in different universes and planets, that thing could be going 80 to 100 miles per hour like a tornado all day. There's places that rain glass. It doesn't have a floor surface. Sorry if that looks crazy, but it doesn't have a floor surface. There's planets that don't have a actual surface. So we would, like, if they put us in certain planets, we would just be free falling forever. So once again, and that could happen at any moment in our universe, like right on our Earth. But somehow, some way, the cosmos, God, Jesus, the universe, and all the other positives in our lives, they're keeping all this together. But I believe once, and I'm done with the video pretty much. I did all the definitions. So once people start learning all this type of stuff that I'm exposing, not really exposing, but I'm talking about, there's a possibility that once everybody starts doing this, like once the trolls and everybody gets a hold of certain information, which is why I didn't want to speak on a lot of stuff like Satanism and all that type of stuff, even though it's the truth. But certain people, they get to it, and like allegedly, there's some groups that can, I know this sounds crazy and it sounds like pseudoscience because we really can't prove it, but there's some people that can use, the seven core principles, telepathy and all that. They can use their mind to send an asteroid to our Earth. So if you see these old meteors, and they don't talk about it a lot on the news, but how on Earth, like we be I'm trying to talk. A lot of asteroids come past our atmosphere. So they don't talk about it a lot. But when I first seen that for the first time, I thought it was over. I didn't know that was like a thing that happens all the time. That asteroids come around often. Because I don't know if y'all seen the news. they was talking about hitting the asteroid. Like if it comes too close to Earth, my phone is on 5%. So if an asteroid comes too close to Earth, which is what people are doing with their mind, sending these things. Like a lot of people are trying to crash the system. Yeah, a lot of people are trying to crash the system. So once again, people Satanists, because you'll never know who's a Satanist. You know what I mean? And that's at the very least. A lot of people pray to these asteroids. A lot of people are praying for apocalypse. You know, people are anarchists, and some people are, you know, like myself, accelerationalists. So, and there's different types of accelerationalists, such as people who want society to fall, so we can rebuild. So, and you'll never know who's doing it because they don't talk about it on the news. So, my phone is on 4%. I gotta keep it going, and we just so happen to stop at 111. So, we really putting in the work. All right, love y'all. That was the 12 universal laws, as well as the 7 core principles. But this video is just going to be titled the 12 universal laws. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and charge my phone up. I'm going to drop this video. It's going to take a whole hour just for it to upload. My phone's on 3%. So just me having to do this editing now, since it's an hour long, I have to mash it up in this editor app that came with the Galaxy. But once again, it's trash. But I realize I don't think it's the editor app. I think it's just, since the gigabyte thing goes past 4 gigabytes, it starts a new video. And I think that's why it does that. All right, so phone's on 2%. We're gonna keep it going. Y'all gonna see this video in about an hour. Love y'all so much. Y'all have a good weekend. We'll have a good start of y'all weekend. Today's Thursday, so next Thursday is gonna be the GTA. You feel me? We're gonna be able to look at GTA gameplay allegedly on Netflix. Look at this. Okay. All right, I'm gonna head out. So GTA will be next Thursday at 3 p.m. Y'all should check that out. Peace. 1%.